Hello buddy, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be starting a brand new campaign with Isabella von Karstein using the SFO mod team Grimhammer version. Okay, so this used to be Steel Faith Overhaul. They're changing their branding around, but it's the same, you know, mod that I've been using for a ton of my other campaigns. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. They added a lot of new units, buildings, artwork, new text, just all sorts of different strategic elements of the game to make it a lot better than the base game. And the base game is very good already, so I can't say enough good things about the SFO mod. It's fantastic. It just dramatically improves the replayability of Warhammer. Okay, so let's go ahead and get in here. Now, the fight that we're going to do first is extremely difficult. I've lost it twice already, so we're just going to try to get to that fight ASAP, and then if we make it through the fight, then I'll explain a lot more about the vampire counts. And the reason is I just don't want to spend another, 20 minutes touching on the baseline stuff and then losing that fight after a 20-minute fight and then having to start over again. So we're going to try to get this as soon as possible. So we'll make this short and sweet at the beginning, and then if we win that fight, then I'll go into much more detail about the stuff there. But the first fight is very, very difficult, the one that I choose to take. Okay, I will just say that Isabella is very strong, and the strategy we're going for is just to crank a bunch of vampires early on. You get extra weapon damage, you get extra melee attack, melee defense. With the new Blood Kiss mechanic, you can actually get 50% off of your vampires, which combined with the the skills you can get with Isabella makes them virtually free in the mid game. Very, very powerful, and it's a good way to get around the cap system. Not get around it, but to really leverage it to your advantage. So we'll talk about that more as we get in here. But yeah, that's the main thing, is extra stuff for vampires is what you get. That's pretty much all you need to know to start with. The other wards are okay. I think Kimler is the worst one overall. Krell is pretty underwhelming, and he has a lot of specialty stuff for necromancers, which overall are much, much weaker than vampires. We will probably get one of them eventually, but they're one of the weakest heroes in the game, I think. Vlad is okay. It's just a lot of his stuff is for late game units, like Blood Knights and extra income from Vampire Keeps, so we're not going to get a ton of either one of those. So he's okay. He's a pretty good fighter. I just think that his stuff is not that great for Legendary, particularly Steel Faith, because we're not going to get a lot of late game stuff, most likely, until like really, really late. This guy's really good, especially in the early game, because you get the 20 armor for zombies is tremendous. Everyone gets poison, which is great on vampire fights, long attrition fights. But he doesn't really have anything that scales into late game. So he's one of my favorites. He's pretty solid. I have a campaign with him, but I just think that Isabella is going to be a bit stronger. Mannfred, classically one of the strongest ones. He's a good fighter. He has 2 different schools of magic that he can get. He has some pretty good legendary lord skills, and he gets discounts for Graveguard and Black Knight. And he gives some extra weapon strength. So this is like the bread and butter of the baseline game. However, I'm not sure how those are going to be classified with the cap system. We'll see. But I don't think that spamming the Black Knights and Graveguards is going to be quite as strong as it was in the base game. It's still going to be pretty good, but there are a lot of other units now, and it's been rebalanced to add a bunch of other viable strategies. So he's okay. He's one of the better ones. He's arguably the best. He does give -2 public order everywhere now, just to kind of offset him a little bit because he's so good in the base game. But overall, he's still pretty powerful. But we're going to go with Isabella. Legendary, very hard. Let's get in there. And then as we're going through kind of the in-turn stuff and powering up here like this, then I'll kind of explain the vampire counts a bit in case you haven't ever played the game or you haven't played it with Steel Faith in a while. So their main mechanic is the vampiric corruption that they have to spread in the provinces they own. If it's not very corrupt, then they could potentially take attrition in those provinces, and they're going to get huge public order penalties. So that means in the early game, your #1 priority is to kill other vampires as fast as you can, because their property's already going to be fully corrupt. And so you don't have to sit around waiting on the corruption. That's going to help accelerate you into the mid-game. But once you start taking over like some of the dwarf territories and human territories, you're going to have to wait on the corruption. And so you want to try to power up and skill into things that give you corruption as fast as possible, so that you're going to be able to expand. Otherwise, it's going to take you forever. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we're going to try to take Castle Drakenhof ASAP, and the reason for this is with Isabella, you get a special building at the Tier 2, which allows you to hire vampire counts at Tier 2, instead of having, or vampire heroes at Tier 2, instead of having to wait for Tier 4, which is amazing. Especially with all the buffs that Isabella gets. What I was talking about earlier with this strategy, this new Blood Kiss mechanic, basically whenever you kill enemy legendary lords, you assassinate characters, and some other stuff that's going on. then you get these blood kisses. And you can spin these on different lords. I think you get a lord every time you awaken one of these. Now, we're not going to be using these lords. You can't really afford that on Legendary, but we can save them for later. We can just dismiss them and bring them back later, I believe. But you do get these buffs for your entire faction, I think. It says minus 50% for all heroes. And then this says Vigor Loss Reduction Medium for own armies faction-wide. So you get a lord and you get a buff whenever you cash in 3 of these. And I think it gets more expensive every time you go up. I'm not entirely sure. But I think you can also get... you can spread it out among different people. So this is going to be the biggest one, this minus 50%. It's going to make our vampires cheap. We can also get banshees pretty early with her, so that'll make those really cheap, and those are powerful as well. Vigor Loss Reduction is very strong. So she's really good at the tier 1 and the tier 2, and the tier 3 is okay. You know, assassination chance, speed. It's not that great, but it's all right. This guy's pretty good for the replenishment and then the public order, so that's going to be very good for expanding later on. This dude's terrible. I wouldn't get him under any circumstances. You get some extra combat effectiveness, but the other stuff is just way better. This guy's great. 25% research. It's okay. It's pretty decent. There are really good techs you can get as vampire counts. Extra winds of magic on all of your armies. Very nice, especially if you're going to have a lot of vampires. All of them are casters, so that's good. And then this is the huge one, the upkeep reduction for everybody, 10%, and raised dead cost. Upkeep reduction is probably, if not the most powerful stat on Legendary, it's one of the most powerful stats on Legendary. Just think of it like all of your armies get 10% stronger because you can afford either more units or more elite units without going bankrupt. Money is really the name of the game. In most, you know, challenging strategic games, usually it's all about resource management. And then this guy's relatively weak. He's okay. You get ambush chance. We're going to be on the offense most of the time, not ambushing. It's okay against like chaos and things like that, but we also have lightning strike that can help out with that. The corruption is a really big deal when we're expanding, so that at tier 2 is really nice, and then tier 3 public order penalty from lack of corruption is pretty handy as well. So we'll probably go 1 here, and then eventually, like, we might go 2 here. We'll see how the public order is going, and then eventually we want to go 3 here. Okay. So we've got 2 vampires we start with. Vampires are extremely strong.
Undeath Ascendant. I assent.
So the main thing that makes vampires, if not the best hero in the game, then certainly one of the best heroes in the game, is they are very good fighters and very good casters. So they can either have death magic or shadow magic, which are both like pretty decent, above average schools of magic. They replenish troops, so we'll have a ton of replenishment. They used to also give growth. They took that away from them and gave it to banshees, so that particularly with Isabella, you couldn't just power growth your level up to like a tier 3 or tier 4 town really early. So that was a good balance call. So that took a bit of power off of the vampire counts, or off the vampires, but in terms of their province management, but they're still really good fighters. They also have the hunger. They reworked this a little bit, but it's basically regeneration, a little bit of buff for you over time. Immortal will. I think this used to be a 60-second cooldown, so they nerfed this as well a little bit. But both of those are still really strong. It gives you nice regeneration. Your standard array of combat skills, they're pretty good to start with. 67-45 with Isabella. Very capable fighters. Lots of armor. Like, not amazing health, but for a single entity unit, not on a mount, not bad either. It's particularly because they heal so much. And then the big one is also Augury, gives +9 extra leadership to everyone around you, and then this gives an extra 8, so that's +17 leadership to everybody. And leadership is huge for vampire counts. And because as long as they have leadership, they're unbreakable. Like, they will not ever run, they will not ever retreat. And so that's really, really good. And usually they have pretty low leadership on their low-tier stuff, especially like zombies, bats, things like that. You got 47 leadership here. This has 55. I don't have any zombies, but a lot of it's really low leadership. Okay, so we're going to get this. We're going to hire. We can only get 1 more Vargeist. We're going to wait a turn, hire 2 wolves. Then we're going to grab all of our raised dead. And I'll explain that mechanic during the break here. All of the raised dead move forward. We're just going to build Crumbling Hamlet for now. Just a little extra public order, a little extra income. These things are nice, but vampire buildings are very expensive. We'll talk about why here in just a second. As far as techs go, we want to go over here. We gain 1 extra blood kiss, so when we start off with 1 in the game in general. So we get 1 off of this. If we kill Mannfred, that'll give us another 1. That's going to give us 3. Then we can hire, get 50% off the vampires. That's going to save us like 500 gold a turn to start with, and that only gets stronger as the game goes on. Also, this transitions over into growth and extra income from most of your income buildings, the repression buildings. And then this is the big one that we want, the public order and +2 vampiric corruption everywhere. Extra growth there as well, which is really nice. And then extra corruption that goes to adjacent provinces. That allows you to spread. That's what you really want on a lot of your buildings, is that spread. So we're going to try to take over kind of the middle of the map, and so it'll spread out to a bunch of different provinces, allow us to expand faster. So this is a pretty good tech tree. We'll start with this one. I'll talk about the other ones later. I just want to make sure I get this fight first. Okay. As far as diplomacy goes, you can't do a ton of diplomacy with most factions. We'll see with Bloody Spears. Okay, we got a bad roll on that. They don't like us. They have aversion. Sometimes they actually like us. It's just kind of random. And in that case, sometimes you can buy a non-aggression pack for 500 gold just to give you a little bit extra money early on. Okay, everyone else hates us, so let's go ahead and... Got everything there. We're hiring. Okay. I'm trying to go quickly, but I'm trying not to forget something as well. Okay, so vampire counts are primarily balanced around the Raise Dead feature, and what that is you can instantly hire units, kind of like Regiments of Renowned, but it only replenishes whenever lots of units have died in an area, and the kinds of units you can get are dependent on how strong the units were that were killed there. So either you can kill them, or other people could have killed them, and it's a very limited resource. So once you hire all that stuff, you're not getting more stuff, usually for a while, unless more stuff dies there. So if you go to a huge battle site, it'll tell you this with a little marker on the map where, like, 20,000 units died. You can roll up in there and, maybe hire some stuff like Blood Knights or Varghulfs or really great stuff in the late game. But once you use it, it's not coming back most of the time. Sometimes, like, the skeletons and zombies come back periodically, like the really low tier stuff, but the high tier stuff you can only hire once. And you don't have to have any special buildings for that either. It's kind of on the expensive side to start with. There are some ways you can get around that, but to offset that, your ability to kind of hire on the move, a lot of your buildings are very expensive and they take a long time to build. So if you ever get sacked, it's catastrophic. And your income is not that good as vampire counts. So you constantly have to try to win more fights and just get your money that way. Now, some of your buildings do give income. Not very much, but it does give some. It just costs a lot of money to start up. Okay, so faction-wide unit and army caps. So basically what that is if we look here, it's two different things. You can decide if you want both of them or neither. If you each one of them that you get makes the game harder. So the faction-wide unit cap means that you can only hire up to a certain amount of units in the faction based on how many buildings of that type that you have. So right here, unit capacity +1 for Varghulf and Vargeist. Base cap is 2. So that means if I don't have any buildings and somehow I can hire those units, I can only have 2. But every single one of these Abyssal Wood buildings that I have gives me 1 more, just like the Tomb Kings if you ever played with them. So that means, in theory, if I had 100 of these, I could hire 100 more Varghulfs and distribute them among, whoever I want. But right now, if I have 3 in this army and I only have 1 of these buildings, if I hire another lord, I wouldn't be able to get any in that other army. My maximum limit is 3 among all armies. Okay, so that's the faction-wide cap. The army cap is another one. I enabled both of them. But this one basically says you can only have so many of certain types of units in each individual army. So this counts as an elite unit. So that means I can only have up to 4 elite units in my army. So this is elite, but there could be others that are elite too. I'm not 100% sure yet because I haven't gone far enough in this campaign with the cap stuff. But I would imagine something like Crypt Horrors would also be elite. So I would have to choose in this army. Do I want 2 Crypt Horrors and 2 Vargeists, or 3-1, or how do I want to do that? There's nothing I can do that will allow this lord to have more of that in this specific army. I could have 1 million of, these Abyssal Wood buildings, and I would still only be able to hire a maximum of 4 Vargeists in this specific army. Okay, so it forces your armies to be somewhat diverse, and it also forces you to figure out some way to, like, not make a death stack and still be successful. So that encourages a bit more free to go horizontal and a bit more wide, to have more lords so that you can, have more of these types of elite units in there, rather than just, like, power stack a death ball, on a single lord. Okay, so that's how those two work. Alright, so for this one, I want to try to level up. Let me see her spells here. So level her up. I have Spirit Leech on 1. I can lower the... Is that... lowers the cooldown on it by 50%. What is it right now? It's 30. Lowers the cost for normal Spirit Leech. Okay, that's what I definitely want. And then probably maybe Life Leeching. Soul Blight's really good too. So that would give -7 melee defense, attack, weapon damage, leadership. Leadership. Doom and Darkness lowers leadership by 22. That could actually be really nice. So I'm just trying to think, if I level her up, do I want to try to level her up, or do I want to try to level up this one right now? Enfeebling. It's pretty decent. Miasma sucks, though. Okay, it only affects single units. Okay, so then we'll try to level up her. So what we're going to do here is try to go for their town, and we're going to try to damage building on their hamlet. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually going to lower, like hurt their garrison at all. We can check it out. But I'm just going to try it, because if it works, I think she'll level up.
No.
Okay, so it did not work.
Thine right is mine.
Okay, and then we're going to hire the dogs.
Descendant of Batu.
And then we're going to raise dead next turn. Okay, so that. Nothing else public or diplomacy-wise. Working our tech. She's hiring. She moved. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's how it's balanced. So your buildings are really expensive, which is why I'm not like building any right now. And in your blue tree, we haven't talked about the skill tree. We'll talk about that more, you know, if we win this fight here. But damn it, he didn't bring his army over there to protect that. So that means he's not going to be injured at all. But you don't have the upkeep cost reduction in the blue tree. Like with most factions, you get a 3-point skill in your second tier of the blue tree that gives you 15% reduction to all units, and then there's usually a 1-point skill at the end called Feared and Renowned or something like that that gives -8%. You don't have that with Vampire Counts. So, you know, most factions you'd be able to get on Legendary 24% reduction on everybody. And then typically, you know, wards will have some kind of skills or something that will give you further reductions. There is some of that, but there's not the 24% universal. So your armories can get very expensive very quickly if you don't, like, put a bunch of zombies in there. So we're going to have zombie armies eventually, but... Okay, this is an option you can put in, which is basically, do you want Empire to be able to fight each other, or do you want them to have, like, a permanent, or like a 40-turn peace pact? So... I'm going to say it's false. I think it's more interesting if they have the potential to fight each other.
My blood.
Even though they often won't do that. Okay, so what we want to do now is come over here. Oh, gotta make sure we hire first. Okay, so we just raised dead. It doesn't take any movement, so you can... Oh, forgot also to check this.
Darkness.
Templehof will probably pay us...
Acknowledge that even Nagash could not better my law, and then we may speak. I'll comply.
So never go to war for free if someone will pay you for it. I mean, there's that old saying, never do anything for free if someone will pay you for it. I disagree with that. I think sometimes having some charity or just being nice about stuff is good. But in this game, on Legendary, you need that money. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to continue siege.
Blood.
They're not going to let us siege. He's going to come over here and try to knock us out.
Expand Sylvania's
So it's going to be like a 20-on-26 fight, and we're going to have to try to knock out Vlad ASAP. They still stay relatively unbreakable because on Legendary they get a ton of extra stats. But if we can kill Vlad and then neutralize their monsters, we need to get the Vargulfs out of there right after Vlad. We're going to have to be surgical with this. And then we need to tie up the, or kill their Vargeist, and then we need to tie up their Vargulf with bats for as long as we can. And then focus fire the bats out also. Okay, replenish troops.
Macabre. Annihilate them.
So she's in there. Then we're going to do, last time it gave me 10 workforce. Now it's only giving me 9. whatever. Okay, so we're going to grab that stuff in order to maybe siege him next turn. We don't have a siege attacker this turn, or we would definitely siege him. We don't even have the option to attack him. So that would be where Vlad would be helpful, because he does have the siege attacker trait, but
Bring
I don't
them
think there's
death.
anything we could hire over here.
Massacre them!
No, just more zombies. Okay. Got all that, 1,100, so we're pretty much going to be bankrupt after this, and we're going to have to dial back our army a little
Shed
bit,
their
most
blood.
likely. Probably cut on some of the Vargeists, maybe. And, I don't know, we'll trim something back. These are a little expensive for what they are. They're not that much better than Skeleton. They're okay. Okay, so all that's done. On the next one. What else about vampire counts? I mean, one of the key features of them is, like, they're so versatile, which makes them fun. These are like OG. Like, I played a lot of vampire counts in multiplayer when the game first came out. And they're just so versatile. They can be sort of like a swarm faction early, but then you can also get, like, some pretty good, like, monsters for later. They have regeneration magic. Now, they've nerfed that quite a bit. Then the heck how much it heals. And now it's like you get negative 25% melee attack while you're healing. So that was, like, really overpowered for a while. But now it's just like, it's okay, it's balanced. Yeah, they have some of the biggest, like, best monsters in the game. They have a lot of really good flying units. In particular, they have very strong magic, and their lords are very resistant. It's very hard to pick them off and kill them a lot of times. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to do to Vlad, though. We are going to swarm Vlad. This is going to be the multiplayer special. That's the only way we win this, is we swarm Vlad, we kill him, and then we try to neutralize the other monsters, and then we just wear everyone else out. They're not killing the vampires, except with Vlad, the Vargulf, or Vargeist. Nothing else hits them hard enough to get through the regen. Or to get through their armor, really. But let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so, once again, fight's very hard. This is not for the faint of heart. We have to kill Vlad immediately. In theory, they should have a lot less leadership without Vlad there. They get a penalty for their lord dying in the battle, and then they also don't get his leadership buff that he gives out. However, because it's legendary, they will still fight to the bitter end most of the time. Now, once Vlad dies, the Vargulf has relatively low leadership as well, so if we can swarm him... I'm going to cancel that. That's really bad. You can start with up to 50 winds of magic in this mod. You might say, well, that sounds really OP, but you got to remember that a lot of the units have way, way more health, and the magic doesn't do much more damage than it does in the base game. So, like, you know, these ghouls probably have, like, 7,000 health in the base game. They got, like, 12,000 health here. So, it's more balanced than you would think. Even though there's just a lot more magic in the game overall. Okay.
The von Karstein's march!
So we're wanting to do just spam Spirit Leech on him, Miasma, whatever we can get on him. We need to put the bats on some unit. They have 48 melee defense. So we need to try to put the bats on the Vargeists. Need to use these to kind of just take out their zombies if we can. Try to keep them out of spears. This is our front line. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It is what it is. Now, they, I would love to hit them before they all get together. But the key thing here is we have to tie up their Vargulf with bats. Probably bats plus crypt ghouls. This will keep them down a little bit. I think this, doesn't this lower their melee attack? Lowers their weapon damage a little bit. So if we can tie them up with zombies, ghouls, whatever, just
Your time has come!
stall them while we kill Mannfred.
Your time has come!
And then all of these guys, Vargeist, we need to fly down and just beat the crap out of Mannfred. Just focus fire him like nobody's business. Get the bats over here. Now they're going to have bats also, which is going to be annoying. But... okay, they're over here. Go, 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 go. Okay, sweet, they're coming right at me. There he is. Stay on him. Stay on him, boys. Hold him off, bats. They got him. Right, raise up, raise up. Oh, yeah. Kill this. Make him crumble. It's Vargolf. Get the Vargolf. Get his ass.
Isabella von Karstein!
Did you get him?
Love eternal!
No. Oops, that's wrong. Stay on that.
Vampire! Blood kiss for Isabella!
Get him off me. Not only does the Vargolf do like an insane amount of damage, but he also buffs everyone else up. So that's why you need to get rid of him immediately. Guys, kill this thing.
The living will join us!
Everyone kill it.
Death to the living!
Nice, we got it. Okay, now we should just be able to come over here and just chop through this stuff.
Love eternal! Reborn mortals! Curse of years!
That charge in there.
We are the new order!
Those are about to crumble. Let's just help them out with that.
Swiftly! Vampire! Curse of non-death!
Got him, baby. Woo! That was a spicy one. Pyrrhic victory, come on, man. I did pretty damn well, considering. I mean, he had like 3,500 units. I had less than 2,000. He had higher tier units than me. He had two Vargeist. I had 3. He had a Vargulf, which is insanely strong. Then he also had most of his infantry were these Crypt Ghouls, which are way better than zombies and skeletons. I mean, they're not amazing units, but like that that lethal poison adds up in long fights. Okay, well, that's one way to cut costs. Now, when it says the dead will rise, I believe that means that you get some replenishment on some of your units. Sometimes you get like a hero or a lord saved that otherwise would not be saved. Okay, so leadership on her for sure. That was good. That was good. Now, these things killed a lot. But I thought we did a pretty good job of neutralizing Mannfred early. And then the Vargulf, we killed it relatively early, but you saw we were swarming it, just beating it down over and over and over again, and it still almost killed us. So Vargulfs are definitely very strong. Probably count as a rare monster. If they're elite, we might be able to sneak one into our army. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. So they attacked us during their turn, but because I was also sieging, and because I won the fight, and they don't have a garrison anymore, it's just going to let me take it. That means I get 1 extra turn of replenishment at the start of next turn. That's pretty handy. We're just going to occupy. I've never seen that happen during their turn where I get to occupy like that, but it kind of makes sense. There haven't been a lot of situations where I siege something and then they come in with like their last army and I'll wipe everything out. Moonstalker. Nice, okay. Don't get it as much attrition. It sucks. I wish we could confederate with Mannfred, but at the same time, like, it's just not happening. You have to kill him early. Like, that's her whole strategy, is you have to get Castle Draken off. You have to get vampires. We got 2 kisses. I thought we were supposed to get 3. Oh, we haven't completed the tech yet. Once we complete the tech, we'll get 3. Okay, so this is, do you want random, like, beastmen just to show up all over the map and just cause a little extra disruption and chaos? I say sure, it keeps it a little spicy. Sometimes it can be annoying because they'll just, like, kill off one of your adversaries you've been prepping for. Just a random beastman herd will show up and just start burning everything. But that's kind of rare. Usually they just cause some minor disruptions. Nice, nice, okay. So if you're not going that hardcore, like the more chill route is to try to go take out Castle Tempelhof first, take this stuff out, and then potentially you can, you know, go after him later. But he's going to get more elite units. It's going to be, he's going to get a tougher garrison. Like, it doesn't necessarily get easier the later it goes on. But you can try to play nice with him if you want to. But just murder him. Get out of here. All right. Leadership on the attack is really strong. Like, there's a lot of very, very good stuff for the vampire. It's just unfortunate that you don't have the uncanny presence. But basically, like, there's a lot of standalone stuff up here that's pretty good. You can get an extra Crypt Horde. Raise Dead cost minus 10%. It's pretty legit. Dark Pact, anything that's leadership, very good. Because most of your units aren't going to have that much leadership. Skeletal stuff, Swarm, post-battle loot, you know, it's okay. 1 extra Vargulf and Vargeist capacity, so that's nice. And then Student of the Dark Arts, 1 extra Mortis Engine, and 15 Winds of Magic. So you do get some extra capacity, which kind of offsets all of your stuff being really expensive. Now this is extremely good. You get Corruption, you get Winds of Death, which is a very powerful spell. You get Curse of Years and the Wind, or the whatever magic, the Raise Dead magic. Now, I could have sworn that vampires used to have the vampiric magic and they took it out. I thought that they had 2 schools of magic, but maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of just Mannfred. But either way, this right here is extremely powerful. This can give AoE healing to everybody. Now it's 12 if you fully upgrade it. And everybody loses 25% melee attack, so that's kind of like, that can be dicey, but it's still very good. Hunger is very good for her personally, extra healing. We do want to get down here and probably get to Children of the Night, though. That is minus 15% upkeep for Lord and Heroes and an extra vampire, which is something that I really want on everybody. This is pretty good, too, for Zombie, Skeleton, Crypt Ghoul, and Graveguard. So your early game and your mid-game unit with the Graveguard are nice if you want to play with that. Wolves and Bats are terrible. I would never get that one. Cairn Wraiths are actually really strong. We'll probably get those. I don't know if they're going to be considered special or elite. If they're special, we'll get a lot of them. If they're elite, we'll see. Weapon strength for Crypt Horrors, Vargheists, Vargulfs. This isn't as good. Like 12% weapon strength is okay, but you really want the melee attack and defense on stuff. So it's all right. Not amazing. It's okay. Black Knights and Blood Knights get melee attack and armor. Okay. Black Coach it's a one-of unit that's cool to have in your army sometimes. Melee defense is okay, but you're not going to be face tanking with Corpse Guard or Black Coach. They're just kind of utility units. Mortis Engine, you know, maybe you can do some stuff with that. So like the red tree's not amazing. You know, this is good. You definitely want this eventually because we're going to have to run with some skeletons and armies, or some skeletons and zombies. This is okay if we choose to get those, but everything else is kind of, it's all right. Then we'll probably get it eventually just so we can get some of these things. Melee attack and weapon strength is good. Magic resist, particularly on the Cairn Wraiths, is nice. Ward save and weapon strength is okay. Deadly power. Pretty good. 15% physical resist and plus 5 melee attack for ghouls, horrors, and Vargulfs is pretty nice. But we'll see. So we need to go through the blue. We have to get Lightning Strike at some point. That's a really powerful ability. On her, it's over here. On Mannfred and some other people, it's right here. So you have to go a bit deeper to get this. Usually Uncanny Presence was over here at the end. So Guile and Glamour can be pretty strong. But yeah, this blue stuff's not amazing early on. It's all right. So we have to decide. Let me see here real quick. What are we facing?
My will alone.
Eshin has already been sacked once. We're gonna have to siege this. Which triple half is 7, 10 units. Okay, so are we gonna have time to get to Children of the Night for an extra vampire before? So we're going to have to win like 1 or 2 fights. I think we can get to that before this, and then we can hire extra vampires, I believe. Let me see this building. So we get Gold Mine, which does give you negative public order, which is kind of crappy, but... Hero Recruit rank for vampires plus 3. Hero Capacity plus 2. Hero Recruitment cost minus 70%. Hell yeah. That is strong. So just by comparison, this thing up here is 10,000 gold before you can usually get vampires. It gives you no extra bonuses for them. They are expensive upkeep and expensive to hire. And it takes you a long time to get up to this. Pretty long. Not like dwarf long, but it takes a while. So yeah, being able to get it at tier 2. So that means we're going to be able to get like 6 or 7 vampires, I believe. So we definitely want that. What is this little junk? Okay. Okay, so Crypt Horrors do have a capacity for sure. It looks like these don't. Looks like Graveguard don't though. But they might still be special units. They probably are special like the Saurus. Okay, so we definitely want that. We're gonna get rid of this. We need a gold mine. We need that money rolling in. And then I guess we want that upkeep reduction over here. Or the
Isabella von Karstein.
I mean, their leadership's pretty decent. That's pretty good. These are expensive, but they're so good on sieges, I think we have to keep them. Just run with a bunch of zombies. And basically, vampires and like monsters and zombies is probably how we're going to run it most of the time. Okay, so let's just go with Restless Dead and then Children of the Night. Hero recruitment cost 10%. And then we're just going to hire a hell of a lot of vampires here in a second. Okay, now do we want... We definitely want replenishment at some point. But right now, getting, we already have some casters. Do we want... We can go ahead and just make her a fighter, I think, and then the ones that get a lot of points here in a second that we're going to hire, we can make them the casters. I think just something like maybe Withering... Enfeeblements, that's pretty good for taking down lords. But we'll save that for other people. Yeah, I think just trying to go to Immortal Will as fast as possible is probably the best course of action. And then since she's going to be face tanking a lot of stuff, I always just like to go for the defense. The melee attack is nice and everything, but especially on healing units, if you can just keep them alive, you'll win the long fight. So we don't want to hire anything special here. Don't want to hire that stuff. Raise Dead. Got like nothing except for zombies. Okay, do we want to hire anything over here? So we could still get the Spirit Well eventually. I do want the Banshees. I do want the Cairn Race. I'm just going to have one of these other tier 3 buildings, which is going to take a while. I can't get rid of this really because I want the I want to still keep the Vargeists. Corpse Pile could be good. Usually Gibbets are good. Balefire Braziers are okay, but the problem is we are already full corruption, so it's kind of a waste for now, unless we are like super rich. I guess we'll just keep it. We'll just save up a little bit. I mean, we are deleting that building, so we're probably not going to be able to hire. I guess we could wait a turn and just hire some skeletons. Just wait a turn on that.
Let us talk.
Yeah, they're only a little bit more than zombies, but they're way, way more effective. Zombies have 18,000 health, though.
As you say,
Yeah, I think we'll just run it that way, and then we'll get rid of, we'll get the gold building next turn, and then we'll come over here and attack this.
More sleep shines.
That should be good. Okay. Oh, we do need to hire a bunch of vampires soon, though. But they're going to basically be free.
descendant of
Okay.
Bathory.
Let's see. I think we need any of that. We're almost... Oh, we still have a decent chunk of time. Okay. We got 2 turns before we get that tech for the Blood Kiss. Alright. And then our vampires will be... should be very cheap if it works the way that I think it does with the Blood Kiss. We should end up with like 65% off of that. That public order one, the more I think about it, is really nice though. +5 public order everywhere. It's pretty phenomenal for expanding. As far as the kiss, but we have to get the 50% off. It's like 500. I mean, it's going to be so much money, like, saved on these vampires. is like 250 per vampire, basically. And if we have like 6 of them, it's like over 1,000 gold saved. Okay, we got a Skaven lair. That means sometimes bad events happen to us. Happens in pretty much every capital. Okay, so we could get more points in Spirit Leech. I did say I was going to have some of the other people do the magic, but we're not going to hire those for a couple more turns. I think I'm still just going to go with this. Just make her a better... Well... Spirit Leech is something I wouldn't mind having multiples of. Soul Blight. That's for 24 seconds. What happens if you upgrade it? 48 seconds. Okay, that's a pretty good deal. You can Soul Blight them and Doom and Darkness them, and that's like minus 32 leadership, so that would get people to run pretty quickly. Get Undead to crumble. Let's get some Soul Blight here just so we can cast this. I think it's gonna be pretty good against large swarms.
Join me for dinner.
That should be an auto-resolve over an Eshin. Do we want to just go right for this? I think we want the vampires before we go for
If
that.
anything dies.
Are they at war with anybody?
You dare.
Just me. Okay. Yeah, I dare.
Go on. Blood. Shed their blood.
Nice. Okay, decent little spell there. Oh, Fireball. I thought it did something else. Okay, well, that's not... The Ruby Ring is not that great then. We're gonna need that stuff right now. Definitely want the wine, although we can't really trade it. It does give us public order. But the public order is probably gonna be fine here. I don't know. I guess we could keep this. It does give us -1 public order. So all of our recruitment buildings give us negative public order. Is that the game? It's kind of rough, but a lot of these buildings do give us public order, so it's an interesting balance mechanic there. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind having some Black Knights or some Grave Guard. We have to have this crap, though, to get it, which is annoying. Maybe we just... Maybe we just save on that, because over here, we're already wanting to get to... this building? Wait. Oh, you can get Banshees off of Spirit Well, or you can get them off of this. Okay, that's an interesting turn there. What is resilient? 25% missile resistance. I do want some Karen Wraiths. I think I'd rather have the Karen Wraiths than the... I mean, this Corpse Cart, plus 10 melee attack and defense is no joke. That's really strong. It's weird that the Defiled Cairn is no longer... I wouldn't mind having some Cryptors either. These are pretty damn good. They were much better in the base game, but they're still, like, strong. They do area attacks, I'm pretty sure. They have regen, like normal, natural regen, like huge weapon strength. Nice physical resist. Decent armor. I mean, these are good, and then these are kind of your backbone. Okay, I guess we'll do it. We'll keep this, and we can build it up here. Because we only need to go up to tier 3. Okay. And then we can do the Cairn race in the other one, since we already have part of that, I think, built. We have to build this damn ancient armory everywhere. Okay, so we'll hold on to that. Okay, nothing else going on there. We're gonna get our tech next turn. Nothing to build there. Okay. Sadie, you had better chill. Yeah, you need to chill. Yeah. What was that? Oh. God bless. This. Seriously? These dwarves. What? Oh, he's gonna go try to protect Waldenhof. I was like, why is he abandoning his place? Are we at war with them, Alaric?
For the wisdom of Valea.
We're not technically at war with them, but it is likely they will come and fight us. Are they just gonna raid us? I'm not really sure. You don't want a non-aggro? Can you just leave me alone for a few turns?
Very well.
Promise I won't murder
Say
you.
what you
for
must,
at least 10 turns.
vampire. But I make no promises.
Well, if they sack this, is it really like that much of a catastrophe? It's pretty bad. It takes a while to get up to this. So I'd have to hire a lord. What do we have here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The axe thirsts for war.
So I could hire a lord. How much? Oh, Vlad is expensive. We'd have to get rid of him, though, eventually. He doesn't cost anything, though. We can't afford 2 lords right now. Do we? Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to build one of these here. This place just always ends up getting attacked. It's like on the front door. Well, we'll see. It's gonna be a little bit too late for now to deal with that. So what do we want over here? Zombies, attrition. Getting the growth would be very nice. don't need the corruption yet. Or... it's like 12 turns for that. How much is this? 16. Wow, you get that stuff really quickly. Graveguard and Black Knights. Huh. Always go for that. That'll give us leadership, melee attack, recruitment cost for zombies. So they're basically free, and then 10 armor. Is that more important than growth and repression building? I don't think we have a lot of repression building. The repression buildings are only the gibbet, right? Yeah, so we don't even have a lot of these right now. Growth is, yeah, not amazing, but we really don't need a lot of growth right now either. You know, we've got plenty of power. We've got a tier 3 town over there. So yeah, I mean, the growth is nice, but the combat effectiveness with the zombies would be very good. Okay, so what do we do with this Blood Kiss? Oh, we're gonna get a free lord anyways. I think we just awaken one of these, right? Oh, this is cool. You get like special lords. Usually there's not a female lord you can hire. Lord keeper. Now, does everybody get that reduction, the 50% reduction? Oh, yes, they do. Yes. 122 upkeep. That is glorious. Because then she gives... How is it even that low? 65% off. I guess at 50, yeah. That seems extremely low, though. I guess the baseline goes down a lot, and then on Legendary, the upkeep, like, is based on the base. So, like, if my baseline is, like, 300 or something, it's probably not that much, but if my baseline was, like, 400, and I have to pay 25% more for units on Legendary or whatever, and then my baseline gets knocked down to, like, 200, then the extra amount would be based on the 200. I can't even figure out the math to get this down to 122, though. I am stationed in a town right now, but... This isn't upkeep, right? Hero recruitment cost. Okay, so hero recruitment capacity +2, rank +3, vampires 3, and then this ability is -15%, and +1 capacity. But that you don't. Okay, I don't have to be in the region to do anything with that. Okay. Does my passive require me to be in the region? I'm trying to remember. +3 for vampires, that's everywhere. Upkeep. Okay, embedded. Obedience to vampires. Just trying to make sure she didn't have to be there. Dark Retinue. Mood Singer. Okay, yeah, I don't have to be there. Okay, so I could hire this lord over here to just hold on to this. And grab a ton of vampires. Can try to fight him. So it's what, 14 units.
Queen of Darkness.
I could grab up to 3 of these. Okay, so he does have a corpse pile there. So that's 13 units.
I refuse.
So it's gonna be 27.
Countess of Sylvania.
Okay. Wait, the blue's not recruitment, right? Sorry, I'm trying to get used to this. Action cost. Okay, recruitment cost is 10% lowered, so I need to be in the town to get that 10%. So what I can do then, where's the line?
Isabella von Cast.
Is like pop over to here. It's region, not province, right? Or is it province? Local province. Okay, so I don't have to be there. It's region for action cost, but province for hiring. Okay, so we can hire up to 5 more. We can't hire them all right now, though. Okay. So that's just only 244. So I don't know how it's going down that low on her.
Descendant of
Okay, so I think we're just going to have to hire these 2. Just grab them.
Yes. Ready. I thirst.
Okay, so at this we want Spirit Leech, Life Leeching, and then Soul Blight. I believe a couple of Soul Blights. Doom and Darkness is good, but I think that the Soul Blight is really where we want to be. Okay, and then, oh, we have even more than that. I forgot. All right, one there. We've almost got enough for Purple Sun, which is what I really want to test out. And her.
Who wishes the red kiss?
Oh, I forgot to step down there. I just talked about. Oh, it's province-wide. It's province-wide. Okay, it's late at night. It's late at night. I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to step down there early. Okay, so we could do. Do we need anything here? I mean, enfeebling. Smoke and mirrors is okay. It's only a single unit. We can take it to 48 seconds if we want to. Withering. Can be AoE. That's not as good as the other one, though. Minus 10 leadership, minus 10% damage, but the other one is, like, I think way better, right?
Undeath Ascendant.
It's a little more cost. 48 seconds. 25% damage. 10 melee. 10 defense, and 10 leadership. It's a 10-10, but 25 damage. Whereas this one is...
Yes, my sire.
just 10 weapon damage and 10 leadership. And some for like missile damage. Yeah, it's way worse. The other one lasts 48 seconds, this lasts 40. So yeah, I mean, you get 10 melee attack, 10 defense, and 25% weapon damage. So yeah, I mean, you can double stack it, but you only have so much magic. This can be a pretty good AoE, like, really good line spell, but it's not going to be as good as Purple Sun, I don't think. Pit of Shades is extremely powerful, though. Or it was in the base game. I think they've nerfed it a little bit, but still very good. However, I think we're still just going to stick with... just probably Wild-Eyed. Mortal Will. Yeah, that's good.
Expand Sylvania's borders.
I thirst.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably just wait to put those in the army, and then we'll go at them next turn. Can we recruit anything? Not really. We'll chill on that, and then I guess we'll go ahead and start getting the gate over here. Actually, let's go ahead and hire that Lamian Lord. I believe we can dismiss her and get her back eventually.
I thirst.
Oh, that looks cool. Ooh, their lords have special stuff? Like these special lords. Queen Bee. Wow, they really went all out. This was free LC, too. I can't believe this. This was CA, too. This was not Steel Faith that did this. Steel Faith may have rebalanced some stuff, but this was CA. So, like, each one of these lords has a, or like each different type of lord has a slightly tweaked skill tree. That's actually really cool. Okay, so this is why I wanted to hire her first, because she has this Warkeeper thing, so that I can build this even cheaper. Okay, so we definitely want that. We're gonna hold her here for a little bit. Can't hold her for that long, though, I don't believe.
What? Who wishes
Stuff
the
in
red
town.
kiss?
Now, I think, is she
Yes.
stronger than your average bear? No, yeah? She's got more defense than most people. And she has 2 different forms of magic, it appears. Oh, she has, like, some weird combination tree. Huh. Okay, so she's got Nahek, good. Curse of Undeath, good. Heals everybody. Enfeebling, which is kind of whatever. Raise Dead can be really good. You get extra Skeleton Warriors. You get to cast it like 8 times. Ooh, it costs 10 magic every time you cast it, though? Jeez, that's a huge nerf. It used to cost like 5. Okay, well, so much for that. And then we get Occam's Razor, which is a decent end game. They did lower the cost of it a little bit, down to 15. And you get 10 extra melee attack now, so it's a little more appealing than it used to be. And you get 50% extra damage on everybody, but it only lasts for 26 seconds, so it's pretty good. 15, it used to cost 20. It's pretty good. Winds of Death is very, very strong, but it's also extremely expensive. Okay, and then she gets Supernatural Horror. Transfix, what is this? Self. Okay, so she gets imbued with a leadership debuff, which she applies to other people, and then 22% damage reduction. Okay, what's lightning reflexes? Damage reduction, okay. Legions of the Dead. So all of this is about the same. She gets lightning strike here, and uncanny presence last. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Perfect vigor, wow. That is nice. 25 bonus versus infantry and seduction. Wow, everybody gets minus 26 melee attack. That's sweet. I wonder if this is all the lords or if it's just her from this one tree. I've never seen a lord that has these abilities. And she can get on a zombie dragon. Hive Mind is minus 50% for vampire chain buildings. Okay. Minus 1 construction time. Alright. Queen Bee. Hero action success chance. Wow. Plus 50%. Jesus. Means every action's gonna work, basically. And she has immortality. Damn. Okay, yeah, those okay, so those Blood Kiss Lords are for real. Alright, so can we hold... I mean, she's got immortality, so even if she dies in this fight, it's not going to matter. But we've got... So 1... We have another vampire in here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus her is 9.
For the wisdom of Valea.
Against 10 dwarfs.
Undeath Ascendant.
I think we can beat him. I think we can beat him without hiring much more. Okay, so we're going to chill here for a turn, wait, and then we'll bring these over here. I guess we can hire, let's see, we're going to get 2 more vampires over there, so we can grab...
The world will be ours.
3 more skeletons. Again, the zombies are good. We're about to get some zombie stuff. That zombie skeleton and Graveguard. I mean, do we really need those though? Like, these are just gonna kill everything. I think maybe just stack up some zombies.
Darkness gathers.
Just save a little cash there. Okay, and then we'll bring these two over next turn.
Expand Sylvania's
Raise dead
borders.
on a few zombies, and then just run at them.
It is night.
Could hire like one bat. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. Guys. We're trying to
Yes,
ball on a budget here. Okay, we're pretty much out of time. Dang, that's sweet. I'm getting hyped now. I want to see what these other lords do. Now, how much is the next blood kiss? Is it more? It's 6. Okay, so it does go up every time. So you are... It is heavily encouraging you to go horizontal with these. So who has the best, like, 1-point wonder here? That's a pretty good one. Casualty replenishment. I mean, these have good 2-pointers. This is a pretty good 2-pointer. These are not that great. I mean, the Impure Corruption is good. And then he's like, nah. He might have some really cool skills that I don't know about. I mean, maybe this guy is really good with the skills, but just based on what I can see right now with this stuff, it doesn't seem that that insane. Okay. Alright, we'll go ahead and end the turn, and that'll be it.
Countess of Siva.
That's pretty hype. They start off with immortality, too. I mean... Usually you have to be ranked 20 for that. It might be a little on the strong side, like with this strategy where you get one like immediately, this legendary lord. Now what is he doing? He's gonna run back to his town? Why would you not just burrow under and go back over there? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get into position to attack Castle Drakenhof. I'm not sure. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. It'll let you know whenever I release new episodes. It does help other people find the channel as well. Don't forget, you can stop by the stream anytime you like. Stream most nights starting around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I usually stream League of Legends, but if you want to stop by, just ask any questions about Warhammer, just chat about stuff, or just any kind of ideas that you have, I'm really open and friendly. I try to communicate as much as I can with the stream while I'm playing. We have an awesome community as well. There's lots of friendly people in there. There's Warhammer people in there sometimes. There's League people. People just come in and chill and just like the company. So it's a great community. So come by, check it out, see what you think. Check out the rest of the content on the channel as well. I probably have somewhere around 30 or 40 legendary campaigns on the channel. So tons and tons of Warhammer content. And yeah, that's going to be it. Have a good day. See you next time.